Okay, thank you. A, a very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome you all to this webinar, this wonderful webinar on a Saturday evening. So here we're going to talk about a very important topic today. That is the challenges that has been faced by the school leaders amidst the pandemic that we are actually going through. There has been multiple challenges that we've been facing in the first wave. There are new challenges that we are facing now in the second wave. But now we need to kind of position ourselves or kind of think about what are all the very, very important challenges and what are all maybe possible solutions to these challenges that we are actually facing. So for this, I can find no other better person than Dr. Ravi to be guiding us and enlightening us with all his knowledge and all his experience. So a brief introduction about Dr. Ravi. Dr. Ravi, he has been groomed as a teacher from RIE NCRD and has the privilege to serve in prestigious institutions such as KVS, NVS, NIOS, Department of Education, Literacy, MHRD, Government of India. He excelled in nuances of the education system as a teacher and administrator in both formal and distant learning, that is NIOS. His significant contributions in NVS fetched him the Best Principal Award. He established NIOS Regional Center at Chennai in the year 2013 and advocated his best to increase the visibility of NIOS for the benefit of the people of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. So we kind of very cordially tell that there is no one in the school community who does not know Ravi sir. So personally, we all know him as a very seasoned educator. But for us, for Team SmartAI, knowing Dr. Ravi in a personal front and then working with him for about a year and a half right now, the first thing that we stuck with this particular, or the first thing that actually stuck us is that though he has so much decades of experience, and then whenever we talk to him about technology or we talk to him about what we are doing and how we are doing, there is a very patient listener who's sitting on the other or the opposite side of the table and then listening to what we have to say. And then he's so interested in learning on what things we do. So we are amazed by his very strong desire to improve himself every single day on every single aspect. This brings us to the question on who is a great teacher. A good teacher or a great teacher is first an excellent student. So with this, I would say I would welcome Dr. Ravi once again on this very special day to enlighten us with his wisdom. Sir, welcome today, and then thank you for joining us today once again.
Yes, thank you. I think wonderful. Thanks. Shall I start?
Yeah. Okay. So probably the way in which we will have this session would be that there will be a series of questions that we can actually go ahead with, and then we will put down to you, and then you would be answering those questions. And these questions have been collected from various academicians and various principals and teachers who have been very kind enough to say, okay, why can't we ask Ravi sir for this particular answer or this particular challenge? So that's how we have constructed it together. So I'll be asking the questions one by one. And meanwhile, probably you could start with an introductory note and we can catch up from there, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening to everybody. Once again, I must thank Mr. Swaminathan and Mr. Aslam, the co-founder of this SmartAI, for giving me an opportunity in this forum to speak to you all and share my certain thoughts, how in this challenging time of pandemic, as a school leader, how we can overcome. And before that, I must also place it on record here. I was rather fascinated to, get introduced with the SmartAI when I happened to see their product. And I really understood that there are a lot of wonderful brains in India. They are very dare enough to come out with a very innovative startup. And one among that is the SmartAI, the deep grade product which they are coming out. The other day, I happened to listen to PM's talk. He was very proudly announcing the world that India is the third largest country in the world who is involved in the startup. And I'm so happy a Smart Tail with a young team has entered in the field of education and coming out with a very, very good innovative product, which is going to a big change in the field of, especially school education in finding the learning gaps and giving the solution for that. So when they talked about me so much, it's my duty to tell about them also. That's what I thought. It's not a product promotion, but it is something which I felt it, very core to my heart. The type of work, the type of product which is coming out, it is going to make a big bang in this, in the school education. That's how I thought. And starting with the challenges of the present day leader in the education system, I don't think that we need to spell it out. Every school leader and the school promoters, the way they are facing the problems, you yourself know that. But we are now trying to, have a kind of, as Mr. Swaminathan said, he's going to ask a few questions. And the thought process, whatever we are getting, we are trying to give you some sort of solution to that, which may be suitable to you. You can try to implement. But one thing is that there is a saying in, in Bhagavad Gita, they say that iduvum kadandu pogum. This is what we have to look at. As a leader, you should be very, very, in Tamil, this is what it said. It's just a tough time. It's a, testing time. But this time will never stay as it is. It will have to go. So this will also pass. Let us start this session with that note. We will overcome. That's only the word which we have in front of us now. Sure, we will collectively will think and then design. Over to Mr. Swaminathan, if you want to answer.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Change is the only thing that is actually permanent. So we believe, I also second your thought that, yes, we will overcome this challenge. With that positive note, let me put down the first question. So how are the school leaders are different from the other leaders or the generic leaders? We have corporate leaders, we have, say, political leaders, we have different kind of leaders in the community. And then school leaders play a very, very important role themselves. So in your point of view, how are the school leaders different from the rest of them?
Thank you very much. I think by asking this question, you're given the due position for the principals, the school leaders. Whenever we say a leader, the word, immediately we think about a political leader or any corporate company, big CEO, all top people only we think about that. But we forget this poor principal who is toiling with all the tiny tots to the big people in the campus and who is directly answerable to the society and contributing it. And I'm happy that you are trying to differentiate what type of leadership is that a school leader. That's a wonderful question. And I must say that school is a mini society. Don't look at that as just a brick and mortar. It's a closed environment where a group of students come, then somebody is teaching and going. No, having spent in the education system for 35 years, especially as of 16 years, I was a principal of a toughest schools like Navodaya Vidyalaya residential setup school. I have understood that how the school leader should be of versatile personality, who should be able to, match the dynamism of that school environment. This is what I look at. It cannot be compared with any other leaders. A manager or a leader of a company is only managing one particular product. His focus can be very, very simple. But when it comes to the school, we have a different group of students, starting from the nursery, primary, secondary, senior secondary. You can understand the difference. And you have to manage the asset of the campus, and you have to manage the parents, and you are answerable to the society. And ultimately, we have the greatest, the responsibility of producing the best human being and handing over to the society. you can imagine the responsibility lies on the such type of leader. So I don't think that in a short reply I will be able to describe what the principal or the school leader is. But one thing I just wanted to quote here, in my experience, once when I happened to be there in UK, I was discussing with the head teachers. They call them as the head teachers there. I said how easy this is to become a head teacher in UK schools. He said it's the most difficult. He said. I said why? He said, sir, very less people dare to occupy that position. He said why? Because they see the government also see this head teacher post is the most critical and the what you call dynamic leadership that which is required, and for that there is a tough selection procedure, there is a norm and criteria. Normally people don't so easily fit into that. So why they looked at that is because they feel that head teacher or the school leaders are the most responsible component of the society they look at. So with this, I think I have answered to your question. So let us not look at an ordinary principal, ordinary HM. It may be in our Indian situation, we look at like that. Anybody who just qualify or a senior more teacher is straight away promoted as a principal. No, this position has to be earned. It is not just to be given. So once they come to that position, I think they should be able to face the challenge. If such type of selection are there, this pandemic or epidemic, nothing can shake them. They will continue to be the good leaders. Thank you.
Excellent, sir. Totally understood and totally agree. So I will jump on to the next question, which is about the leaders again. So can you please share the challenges of school leaders specifically during this pandemic, uh, whether be it the COVID first wave or the second wave? What do you think are the key challenges that the school leaders are actually facing in today's scenario?
Yes, I think all can understand. We never expected uh, this will such type of pandemic will now shatter the complete our survival also to that an extent. In that, school is not an kind of exception. People may say that that school component is most affected because we are missing that meeting the children in the school in a physical condition. You know, when I look at this as a challenge, as a principal, now what has actually big change has taken place. What was offline now it become online. The first difference, if the principal and the teacher are able to understand this, you know, human being is the most sophisticated animal in this earth who can adjust to any type of changes. You put them in the icy continent, they know how to survive by covering them with the warmest cloth. If you put them at the most scorching sun, they know how to strip themselves and keep themselves cool. This is what when it this is our innate nature of what you call adjustment. I think it should not be a problem that this principal or the school leader can easily manage it, for which he has to little align or tweak his vision. All these days he might have planned all his vision for the school only in terms of the offline concept or face to face mode, but today he has to be in a totally in a virtual mode. He is going to now manage. First, has he prepared his entire team for his now this virtual mode of transaction? That is a first primary and the important thing which you should have. Convincing the management and convincing the teachers, and also preparing the entire school setup for this virtual mode. If he's developed the skill or taken somebody's help to execute that, I think problem 90% is solved. So, dear educators, let us not be afraid of this one. Technology is there to assist us now. That's what I can tell. But now, but this for which I request our, all the fellow educators to visualize. See, many things we do it in our life. We are not traveled at all, but we visualize. Before we take a journey, we visualize it. Similarly, you have a great vision about that. Please be very clear in your communication with your down the line, your teachers, your students, your management, everybody. If this communication is clear, execution is not at all problem. That's what I can say at this stage, please.
Great, sir. So technology is going to come to our help. That's
Yes.
the uh, very important line that you've actually put out. So I'll ask a question in continuation to that particular statement. So we know that all our kids, all the schools have jumped into online mode, and then these online classes are becoming a challenge, yeah, either for teachers or either for students. Many of the teachers have this doubts that whether the students are following the lesson or not. Yes, they will all say, yes, sir, I understood, or yes, ma'am, I understood. That's the reply that will come back even from a online class that's actually going on. But what is your suggestion to the teachers? How should they be aware that whether the students are really following the lessons or not? So, can you please throw some light on that?
Yeah, good. I think so. You know that all of a sudden, like a one storm, it came and then the lockdown announced. Teachers were not knowing where to which direction they should go, especially in the rural area. They are clueless. Those schools which had little, the taste of the technology, the migration was little easier. But when it comes to the some of the rural school, it was a very great learning, almost like uh, like a child learning the cycling, falling down many times and then now balanced. Now this 1 year time, I believe that most of them are balanced to ride that cycle so nicely. So here I just look at migrating from the offline to this virtual classroom. That was a challenge, but we could do. There is no other way. Today, every school across the country, including government and non-government schools, everybody is completely, tuned to this, and they are all. There is no other go. But now your question comes: are they really following it? Or the expected outcome is coming up? That is actually depends on how well the school leader has prepared that platform, this virtual platform. I am sure every principal would have taken an what do you call responsibility of training the teachers. It's said easy. There are many teachers have vanished from this teaching post because of this online class. Forget about the what do you call that, whether the students following or not. But here, because they were not able to manage themselves. So now this online classes requires a set of different skill, looking at the screen, managing that students in the different side, transferring the content, sharing the certain contents on the stage. All those things are the multi skills are required simultaneously. The teacher was a queen or king inside the classroom. Nobody was watching. But now his monitor is being watched by everybody. He's not only teaching to the student, but he is rather teaching for the entire family there over there. So the issue came now whether actually the students are following it. So my simple advice here is you embrace the technology now. You must. Okay, from the beginning, I have been telling it is the time now, unless we adopt certain technology where you can monitor and get the feedback, then improve yourself. That's the reason I don't mind saying that there are a lot of technologies are available. Name it as an LMS, learning management system, or a personalized learning, or what you call some graded exercise, anything. For that matter, I think I don't mind repeating certain qualities of this. The deep grade, the Smart Tail has come out with the the product, which actually completely fetches the data from the students, the learning. You just write certain answer script. See, now the biggest challenge we are facing now in the online class, we do not know how to evaluate it, whether he has followed or not. I keep on teaching. I will just upload some in Google form or something, and I ask some students to answer. you may find out afterwards you do not know how to interpret that. Today, the problem is in the online, we deliver many things, but we do not know whether the children have really followed or not, how much that I should collect that. What is the learning pattern? For example, I spoke about something about the environment. I talked about the different type of pollution. I explained about the noise pollution. But I want to know immediately, is there any mechanism that if I ask, as Mr. Swaminathan said, invariably in my school experience, I asked, have you understood? It's a spontaneous response from every child, whether he understood or not. They will shake their nod their head and say yes or no. Or they're very rare, they say no. We take it granted, but that is not the new education which is expected. We want to know whether we have progressed or not. See, when it comes to the a kind of business, immediately the area manager will come to know that such and such fellow, the what you call the product has not been sold. What is the reason? Was the product was not distributed properly? Was the problem in the sales person? Everything they will analyze it from one data. How he gets the data? Based on the data, no marketing manager sitting at the head office will visit the villages where the product is sold, but he is able to clearly say that yes, this particular point of India is not progressing or not doing the business properly. Find out the reason. Do we have such mechanisms here? This is what I want. Technology can do that. So here you must try to explore all those, or you design your own mechanism of monitoring it. In fact, just some time back, I was also speaking in another forum there. I was telling that there is nothing wrong. There is one teacher is teaching in English. Put one more same English teacher as a co-teacher. Let them, both of them, keep monitoring and then do, so that your level of understanding, you can even see every child, whether he's focusing on the lecture, whether he's noting down, or they can ask some student, come on, can you just answer now? What is it? All these things can be easily done. So in short, what I want to tell here, this, whether the child is following or not, it is the smartness of the teacher, how he delivered, how he is able to retrieve or get back the feedback from the student, and the way he's asking questions, the way he's monitoring it, and the way he's going to now address those learning gaps. This is what, in short, I can tell. I know it requires a different skill, but technology can make it much more easy. Today, we are so much facilitated by different type of technology. Why not we do this also? That is where now I keep telling, days have gone. Today, Corona or pandemic has taught now we need to go for a blended learning. What is that blended learning? Minus technology, there is no future for us. That's when strongly I can tell you, please. Thank you.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. So maybe I'll ask another question which is in line with this. Now, when the whole of pandemic started, we just jumped into the virtual class. So as we say in the business side of things, we say, okay, this is unconsciously incompetent. We didn't know how to do it. And then we were pushed to learn and do it. So what we became was, we became probably consciously incompetent. And after that, we became consciously competent enough. Now, there are still a lot of teachers who are actually facing challenges in terms of moving from the chalk and talk mode, which they are normally being in presence of the students, and then using the chalk and talk, to a virtual classroom mode. So very different. Technology might come as a savior there, but very different from their usual process to this new process. So how difficult is it for the school leaders to convert them? So is it going to be like, should they lay down a training process? Should they lay down a coaching process? What should they do? What should the school leaders do to convert the teachers from chalk and talk to the virtual classroom modes?
I think it's a wonderful question. Probably, if you asked 1 year before, this question would have helped many schools. But now, of course, many have learned it by the trial and error method. But I'm telling you, this chalk and talk method is not bad. Our conventional teachers, there are many, many legends who has actually created hundreds and thousands of students. Today, they are in the very good position, walks of life, only through this chalk and talk method. That chalk and talk method more rely upon the individual talent of the teacher. our Indian system of education so far, or in majority places, we have groomed more and more of such type of teachers. They are more of humanly, they are more what you call not touch teachers rather than the tech teachers. But I really, at this moment, I want to emphasize they are all our assets. The decade old or 2 3 decades of their experience, the chalk and talk cannot be ignored. Of course, this pandemic situation, we are forced to swim in a rough water which they were not actually trained for it. So in such case, even now, I know there are many schools. We are just when we happen to talk to them and when we are monitoring their classes, they have learned only a very simple technique of switching on the or logging into this classroom, and they even go to the extent of keeping the mobile, focusing on the what you call the board, and they started teaching. That was the initial stage, and there are some people who are still continuing it provider. Okay, that was the first step which I found. Many people have so-called they have migrated to the virtual classroom. Actually, what has happened? They continue to talk in the chalk and talk method only. Only thing we have just focused that camera on the board and they talked, but they did not really utilize the technology. That was not that there are even now. Thank you, Mr. Swaminathan, for asking this question. Many schools are still under that opinion. If I talk in front of the camera, I have now achieved the virtual classroom technique. No, it's totally wrong. It is. It's nothing. Even I can record certain videos or somebody's video. I can show to the children or send the link, and they will teach. No, that is not the thing. No. What the teacher here, the chalk and talk teacher is missing here. They are not getting a chance whether the children are responding to that, whether she is able to ask a question to them, and in case if they reply, how she is able to handle that. All those things, simultaneous techniques were there, but it is now gradually improved. Today, there are certain few schools, they thought that these teachers are all actually not tech savvy. I don't think they are suitable for that, and they are mercilessly even removed from the school. Really, I pity on those teachers. And the reason is they have not understood the days are changing. They are such an excellent teachers. They are the way they speak so beautiful. You don't feel like moving out of the camera. You listen to that. But if they just little, they have learned certain things, some skills they could have. See what is there. I must say now, like they have been using the ordinary phone. The migrating to the smartphone was just a only trial once, but once they understood that the power of that, nowadays they are so busy in pandemic time. I'm telling you, if this all smartphones are not there, people would have gone mad by this time, because they have a lot of you know they are being engaged so nicely, seeing many things and all that, because that smartphone has given them that smartness of living. Same is the case here. I know it was a little difficult, but now as a school leader should identify, yes, here is a set of tech savvy teachers, here is a set of chalk and talk talented teachers. How can I now bring them together? How can I give them the hand holding? This is they should have, they can create, they don't need to go and arrange anywhere. They can create a kind of buddy system in their own class. Maybe one teacher who's got just attached with them. Ma'am, can you just help them? Or initial stage they can even, ma'am, you continue to talk, I'll be there in this class, I will arrange everything. They can do. There are, instead of one teacher is teaching, you can teach two teachers. This is what otherwise what has unnecessarily, we have many teachers were not able to prepare the PPT. They were struggling. In such cases, why not? That's my message to the what you call the school leaders. Please don't, the richness of their experience in the field of handling, decades of service should not go waste. What was problem with them? That they were not able to immediately get the technology part of it. Yes, let us find out. Can we not do that? We will, in our own home, if something happened, we will try our best to do help them. Same is the case here. You can just call your own class, or suppose somebody is a science teacher, experienced teacher, able to do, but it is not simultaneously how to handle the technology. Attach one teacher. Okay, you prepare one what you call PPT. run for them, let them talk to them, and you assist them in that. This is the way we can manage them. It is only the matter of time and confidence building slowly, like how that you learn something new at one particular, just like a driving. You in the initially the type of the fear you have, that slowly as a number of hours you start driving, and you will feel subconsciously it's not driving. You do that, it becomes so easy. Even now, I was not so comfortable when the Zoom and all came, that now only we become very thorough, and we now understand many things and all that. It's only that matter of chance. I don't think that actually it is a difficult process. It is the perception in the mind what they have, and even the management, especially the principal, who is actually a pedagogical leader. My message to all the principals over here: please understand, you are not just only a kind of a supervisor to note down certain things and report to the management. No, you are actually a mentor who are with them. Yes, here is the strength of the teacher. This teacher is lacking this one. How can I help her? How can I handle? That's a job you have to do that. A real leader is the one who actually, otherwise you will leave them all on the race. And you will feel, you will find sometime they will be suffocating. They will be suffocating. Oh my God, I'm not able to do that. And they will do that. Sometimes, they get humiliated. Can I ask all those things at this stage now? It's better, I think I can remain silent. I don't need to participate. This is what happens in there. In fact, technology has become the very important parameter for our future survival. All the more, it become very, very valid for the school teachers, school management, and principal. So no other go, upgrade yourself. Either if it is a software, you just keep on updating it. Put the new versions, go on, 0.023, like that, new versions, keep on doing that. If your hardware is also missing, please upgrade that. That's what, otherwise no system will. We started with some sort of all the very, very, that floppy system and all that. Today we are where we are there, we are talking about the cloud storage. So this is how things are going. So dear friends, this is not the time to be afraid. And your chalk and talk has not gone waste. It's only a little kind of value addition to that, and you will become an excellent teacher. I think that's a message I can give to all those chalk and talk teachers, please. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I think there is a lot of self-conviction that is actually required. But even when we run our teams, now we feel that it is a lot easier to maybe get to a team board meeting and then draw the architecture diagram and then explain. It's a lot easier to explain and communicate. And then when we explicitly move to the online mode, for a thing that would have taken like 10 minutes, now we spend about like 30 minutes. So it is pretty tough, but in this situation, at least we are safe at our homes and still able to continue the work. So that's something which we are able to do. So having said that, let me hit you with a question, which is one of the most important question for everyone, right? And especially the school correspondents and the people who actually run the school. Schools are under tremendous financial stress due to the poor collection of school fees. Literally, some schools have not been able to collect it all. Now, how can a school leader play a crisis management role here? I mean, it's what keeps the machine running. Now, if the power supply is cut, then what will happen there? How can they play a role here? Yeah.
Yeah, I think a school fee connected with the power supply. Yeah, it is a lifeline now. I
Yes,
think in
yes,
this pandemic
absolutely.
situation, I must say that oxygen supply now. That's what is now happening. Everybody knows. It's a very, very pathetic situation. When I talk to certain correspondent, the beautiful buildings with a big dream, the world class infrastructure they have given. Sometimes we used to know and wonder, was it required for this village such a big school with a centralized AC and all those things? And when I used to talk to those correspondents, they said, no, sir, I wanted to provide the world class environment even in my village. Really, I appreciate it. But now, what is this cases and all? They have borrowed a lot of money. They have to pay so much of EMI back to the bank and all that. They are all started selling their property because this school cannot be now, converted for any other thing. If it is just a major big hall, you would have even converted into factory. It has been built for the purpose, but that is not being served. In this case, all these things have to be actually conveyed in a proper manner to the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Though we say the students, but in terms of M factor, it is only the parents have to now support. You make them, you convince them that they are the partners in the progress of your institution. Unless the partner feeling is not there among the parents, I don't think that they will be able to come forward to pay the fees. I know for that, what just coming into my mind, of course many schools would have tried different means. Somebody will have told, no, we will cut down the what you call the online class link. We will not allow the child to enter into the class, and all such type of things. They keep doing that. This shows, it sends a very negative signal. It is not the way. What many schools have actually burned that way. And now government also has given a warning that you should not harass the parents by doing all those things. See, one side you cannot cut down the one, the other side, you want the fees. So the only way is just try to plead them. What is the way to plead them? Tell your problem. Let them know what is your pain. Unless your pain is known to the other person, how he will, otherwise you are bearing it and you are keeping quiet. Let them know that your financial flow of the school, and let your teachers be aware of that. See, one side you have to retain the teachers, good teachers. Where do they go? They also have a family. They have to run. The same parent is also aware that because he's working somewhere else, if he doesn't get the salary, what happens to them? He may also tell their problem, ma'am, I'm only getting 50% salary. For my dad is getting only 50% salary nowadays, or he has lost the job. They will come out with their own pain points. So here is the challenge. As a school leader, correspondent will be asking principal, what is this? I think I may have to reduce your salary also. You will tell to the principal also. Because all are under that they are trying to throw. But still you find there is a way things are going on. They have to give a priority. You just see, even at this time, in this pandemic, when you go to any jewelries, and I don't want to tell in the open forum the way the task mark is being flooded. That's different. But see, there are places still people are spending it. When they been convinced, yes, it is very, very important for my child to now learn. My school teacher to now focus on their, comfortably, they should feel so happy to spend the, time on helping my child, the learning, because this 1 year or every minute of the child is actually great loss if it is not done. And I have come across, there are schools, many parents have not enrolled their children in junior classes, LKG and UKG. Do you know that? They are all so calculative. They are waiting when the school opens. I will try to now put them into the school. Till then, why should I now put it? Why I can save the fees. This is how they are. This is all wrong notion. So the job here, the school should educate the parents. Preferably, I say, let not the office people send a message to the parents continuously. Just like, sometimes we get irritated through this getting reminder from shops, or you buy this and that one, and even the recharge your plan is getting exhausted. No, continuously. No. Let us not send such type of thing. You remind them. Let your good teachers, who really respected teachers of your school, can talk to the parents. Just guide them that, see, now this is the problem of we are facing this now. It's a national crisis. Can you just help us now? Can you speak to these 10 parents who's actually trying to dodge us? But don't just compel them. Listen to their problem and also try to do this. Let your teachers can be a kind of, if I can compare this loan recovery officers will be there in the bank. This manager will have the target of recovering the loan. That's a major job, this especially in the rural side. rural branch, if they go this agriculture loan recovery is a very, very tough time. And I used to say, some of my friends, they go in the morning before, that fellow comes to the field, he will go and stand there and then talk to them and then convince them. And some more, even any amount recovery is that. That is how I look at now. Anyway, it looks very odd. I'm just trying to give such type of example, but what to do? We have to run a show. We have to help the children, and we have to remove their ignorance and all those things, for which we have to play other than the teacher role also. I remember there are schools, they send the teachers to the various surrounding places to go for admission. They will even tell to that extent, if you bring 10 admission, then your next month's salary is assured also. To that extent and all, they will say that. Let us not go to that level. Let them be very, very frank and free, and then tell them, have a very good rapport with the parents and create it. Let us join together and we all will serve these children. If we don't pay them, that's what happened now. So in such case, and even if require, the management, see, the principal is a kind of a interface between the management and the other teachers and the students. They should play a balanced role and convincing the management. Try your best to see that the teachers are actually paid in time. Maybe it can be 60%, 70%, 80%, depending on the situation. Or you can even tell them, assure them, now I'm deducting this much money from you. I'll try to pay when I'm getting my full-fledged, when I am earning that way. So these are the way that they should extend that, the difficulty at different level, so that this financial crisis of the school system now, the education system which is undergoing, have to be overcome. All have to be part of this one. And even one can suggest, if suppose there is a group of parents are there who is well to do, who can, has got sufficient, there is nothing wrong. You can request such type of parents, sir, you are going to be there for another 5 years with us. Would you mind paying the 5 years, the fees together? Maybe that I can pay you the kind of this many 1 or 2 or 5%, 10% interest for that money. There's nothing wrong in that. You can very well tell. You may feel that what is this, sir? No. You just bring them. They should also understand. Or there are certain parents who lost the job there. Well, see, you can arrange some loan through some financial bodies who can actually give them and try to, or let them pay in a smaller amount, like installment. If 50,000 is a fee, let them pay it in 10 installment. Monthly wise, ask them to pay. So some mechanisms we have to divide depending on, see, just I'm giving wild thought what comes into our mind, but what is practicable in your area, try to analyze that. This is where I wanted that the school community has to play a very important role in diagnosing the complete data. What type of parents, who are affordable, who cannot afford, actually how many of these, all data have to be collected and start. Because once this trend goes into the minds of the people, yes, without payment also things can go. These people will do that dodging. Somehow it is there in Indian, behavior. We see that when essential place, they don't pay that. As I told you, there are so many unwanted expenditure. They are ready to spend it even at this time, but they don't view this as an essential expenditure on the child. That for which the school leader, you organize a very, very small meeting, have an interaction, listen to them. This is the job that a school leader keep playing that. Because now an additional responsibility has come to the principal, that your revenue flow in the campus or in the system, it is your responsibility also. Okay, so it's an unexpected one, but you have to do that, please. I hope I given an elaborate reply.
Yeah. So there is no one single right answer or wrong answer to it. I totally understand the angle from which the answer is coming. It's because it's, as a society, we have to start contributing. I mean, whoever can contribute, the parents should start contributing there. Whoever needs help should be given help. So yes, it's a very tricky question, sir. I know that it's a very tricky question when I asked it, but thank you for very patiently putting down the crux of it. This is a place where we should share. So, or this is a time where we should share more than save for our own part.
Yeah.
So excellent, sir. So this is one continuation of probably a little bit related to this. Now, we talked about the stress on the management and then the stress on the staff, right? So, how do you balance between this management and then the staff welfare? When I say it's staff welfare, is the teachers or admins who are actually working in the school? Given this full pandemic, I mean, everyone is stressed. I have stopped opening or seeing news for the past 20 odd days. I haven't seen any news at all, just for the reason that I don't want to get depressed or I don't want to get demotivated with so many bad things that we are actually hearing in the news, because bad news always sells. So, given all this, what is your suggestions very quickly? Given that we have next 15 minutes, so very quickly, how should we plan for the staff welfare in a particular school? How should the leader take care of this?
Yes. Yeah, I know. I think some point of that already I explained, but now I'll put it in the other way around. This, including principal, the staff, all are under stress, but their welfare should not be compromised. I can, quote one of the situation. One of my friend who is a major general, retired, and he is speaking. Sir, how did you manage in certain, in the war field or in a war field situation? You know, when he explains, there the leader should give such type of, the impression or the feeling to the staff. I am there with you. You know, I'm talking about the war field. That means, dear friends, that I am there with you, that till your last breath. That's the message should go. That is one of the quality of a leader. A leader is the one who is for the people, of the people who are working under him. If this is the kind of, that I'm sure that you will automatically come out with, the taking care of them. For example, welfare measure. See what was being given now. Maybe some, you are at the school or the management been expecting certain things, which is all these days. But all of a sudden, now they say because of pandemic that now I am cutting down this, and my financial condition is not good. I am so just removing all those things, or just straight away say that, sir, I am now cutting 50% of the salary. It is almost like a kind of do or die situation in the among in the school. So, what type of a leader you should be in such a way? One side you try to convince the what you call the management. See, you don't better you can borrow some additional loan, but see that the morale of the teachers should be so well taken care, that because they have been toiling, they have been taking care of us in the the time of distress. Is it our duty to help? That's the one side you should speak there. The other side here, want to talk to the teachers, see that they understand the pain of the management, and they should not get mentally get so much, disturbed. Oh my God, this is what is happening to me. There is no meaning working here. No, that should not be. So here, as I told you, you have to play a balanced role. One side you are convincing them, days will be all right, we let us continue to do that, we are not doing for the job salary, we are actually doing the service. That's the motivation you have to give. The other side, on the top management or to the correspondent, you should try to them what our younger, lower the line people are all trying, what you call sacrificing themselves. If these two tone together, I'll be definitely both of them will strike a balance at one particular point. This actually, what you call this type of, the money or the facility what we get, these are all certain motivational factor. But if mentally, if somebody gets satisfied, that is the highest satisfaction. Even with the very simple meal, one can get have a convenient, provided if mindset is good. Otherwise, if mindset is not, even 21 varieties, a very big feast if you give him also, that you can never satisfy them. So it is psychologically to be handled. So that's in short I can tell. The leader has to play a little psychological game there in both the places, but not simply cheating each other, telling the fact. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, uh, in all the pandemic, I mean, all our questions were right now when this pandemic has been so challenging. This pandemic has been really tough for us. But in anything that we actually encounter, there should be some positive side to it. In your opinion, what is the positive side of this pandemic with respect to school administration?
Acha, you want to see even that worst situation also? Huh? Good, fine. It's yes, that is how we have to look at. Let's not keep on cursing what is happening to us or what has happened. We should always be trying to look at one thing that all the teacher or the parents, the entire education as industry has now felt it, that we are now almost shifted from one generation to another generation in technology adoption. Otherwise, I'm telling that never it would have happened, such especially in the field of education. I know personally myself how in this 1 year of time that today this pandemic has taught me technology adoption. This would have never happened in this country. It would have taken even 50 more years to now train that. Can you just imagine my chalk and talk teacher would have now come to this stage? They don't mind they're burning extra oil for only to exist. I mean, work on their own style. Today, they all have migrated to that. So, one great thing which I have noticed today, you know, technology adoption overall, irrespective of even the remote village, all have adopted. Today, we talk about the Google Classroom. People are entering into that. Entering into Google Classroom, virtual classroom. These are all the words. Just imagine, 2020 January, anybody, any school, that if you have just conducted a national survey also, that there is a one Google survey, how many of you are aware of this classroom? You would have got the shocking answer. But today things have changed. So I look at this corona has pushed us to move to this type of virtual classroom, which is positive part of it. The next is that I feel it. The learning and exploring, all these things have gone in a very different level. The teachers started browsing, preparing for the classes. And otherwise, they would have not. They would have thought only that the Bible, what they have a textbook, not going beyond that. Today, they have all visited various websites, different, preparing the notes and diagrams, PPT, prepared all these things. Otherwise, they would have just gone with the one chalk quiz, because every year they have been teaching the same. If you ask them that sentence, which page is there, they will exactly tell. For 10, 15 years, they have been teaching that. What great thing. Today, because they just entered into this browsing world, they see many things. Oh, come on, like this. Oh, this way. Oh, I taught like this. I think this example is much easier for them. Today, they are sharing, blending, many things they are doing. Some of the teachers I have seen, I really feel so envy of them. So beautifully teaching, integrating, magic they are doing it. That augment technology, virtual technology, they bring some tiger there, and in front of that, the lesson is going on, they are bringing and then showing what is all those things. So all this, where did it? Because the teachers are, and really, I'm telling you, some of the brilliant teachers who are, they had they are getting an opportunity to go at the fullest potential. That is something which really this technology, this pandemic period has really helped them. We cannot thank Corona for that, but I'm just telling that this is the by the cost of doing this much disturbance, but it has given certain benefits to them. And now we also seen the parents are involved so much. Otherwise, they were not bothered at all. What the child was learning, what is happening in your classroom there. Only even principal cannot see what is happening. Once a while, they will go on the rounds. They may just listen, or sometimes they, on the name of observing the class, they will go and sit. But today, every class is being now observed. Not only the family members, all are seeing that. With the result, what has happened? Teachers have become so conscious. They are conscious of whatever they have to speak and their content, everything. So nicely they designed it. I find that the quality of teaching has tremendously improved. There is. And I still remember when I was in Navodaya principal, we had one AV room. Only one room with the smart board, and then this our LCD projector and all that. People have to book in advance. So the previous day they have to give, AV room this period, and one teacher was in charge for allotting that. Now every classroom is now technology aided classroom. See, now the AV room concept has gone out. Now every class that you are now in the submerged or merged with the technology. This is what I look at. So this pandemic, as if I, in terms of education sector, if I see that, I see there is a phenomenal change, or there is a, and it is going to now continue. We cannot go back. It is like you cannot drop the smartphone. You cannot go to the ordinary phone. You are now. That is what you, I think, Mr. Swaminathan used to tell, the delta factor. That now no more you will go for dialing up and calling the taxi. You will call only Ola. Same is the way now. A time is going to come now. Okay, let me go to deep grade. He will take care of my problems. Like this, you should keep on moving to them now. So this pandemic has really helped this teaching community. Those who have not realized it, that I think you should look in this angle, please. I know. I
So,
think taken more
yeah,
time to answer to this. But still, I
sure. No,
understand.
no worries, sir. So, uh, you kind of answered to my next question already, but I'll still post that question to you. Now, school leaders are actually spoiled for choice. There is so many different tools. There is so many different technology. There is like, it's like they open and then they search for like school management system or something. They'll get 100 and they'll get 200 and so on and so forth. Now, could you please tell us what are the three most important things that a school leader must consider when he has to choose an appropriate technology for his school? Just the top three that comes to your mind.
Okay, but it's a the time is limited now. I think I should limit myself. Okay, see, look here. Uh, when technology adoption comes, always let us now look at what is technology. It is something to assist the human being, make the process so simple, and it should not, what you call, uh, you know sometimes we do a lot of repeated things, which is actually waste of time. And let me straight away tell that your product, you are now brought such a type of technology where around 30 to 40% of the time of a teacher is spent on turning the pages, seeing one by one question he has written there, another question somewhere, he's going on searching and then totaling all those things. If you see, a teacher is actually, I look at teacher is that such an embodiment of what I should say, that quality or knowledge, that he should play with the children in deliberating this type of knowledge with them. But he is wasting the time to find out what actually the child has written, why he is looking at, because he wants to now check whether the boy or a girl has understood what he taught in the class. But I have a now technology which tells you immediately, yes, I taught the lesson. At the end of the lesson, you come to know that all my 40 students, this is how they understood my concept. What else you require? All the 40 children have written maybe hundreds of pages. You are evaluating it and giving the complete data to the teacher. Teacher should now work on the data, not on finding out the data. So my sincere, recommendation to all the principals or the correspondent in this is, please identify such type of technology. Your teacher should not waste their time. They should spend the productive time. So in short, you should select those technologies which will reduce or which will add, the value to the teacher. Sorry, the other way putting, it should give, the technology should not consume or the productive time of the teacher. See, you will just find out some technology nowadays. I find in the market plenty of things are there. They're all sometimes making that sometimes people lazy. No, that is not required. Here we need to provide such type that the data should be available, that the next level they should start working. That is what I mean it here. I don't, because you time is short, I can otherwise quote the different type of examples, that how sometimes on the name of technology we are simply just being driven away, saying that no, I have a smart board now. I don't want to mention name of the company. At one time they swept every school All they have a touch board. They thought that it will transform the entire teaching learning process. No, nothing. Students were sleep. I know that students were sleeping in the class. Dark room. They were all displaying the videos, CDs, and all those things. Children are there. When you switch on the light, half of the students were sleeping. That is not the technology. Here we have to observe. Technology should fetch you data, as much data. And now I feel the induction of AI, the machine learning, many new technologies have come. Artificial intelligence, it is playing a big role. But again, there is a fear among the people. Artificial intelligence is going to substitute the human being. No, it will never. It is going to continue to assist. This is what going to happen. So please be very selective when taking the technology. I know it's difficult, Mr. Swaminathan, to answer this big question you asked, because actually many things flowing in my mind, but I have to respect the time which we already people are investing on this place. Okay.
Sure. Sir, there are, I do have a couple of questions, but there are a couple of audience questions, so I will
Please,
put it before you.
I love
The
to
first,
address that, please.
Yeah. So one of the questions from Sri Bashita School, Armoor. They have a question is, what is your suggestion to the governments and how should they contribute in the pandemic? So we have talked about principals, schools, leaders, but what is your suggestion maybe from a school leader perspective? What is your request to the government? Again, sir, within 1 minute. The answer needs to be within 1 minute.
Yes.
Please. Yeah.
I think all you know that government is nothing but politics. They need to please the people by way of telling, and which is normally it goes against the private schools, especially who is living on the fee collection. So the fee managed committee or the association should be able to convince the government this is actual fact. You please come out with the solution. Let the public be aware of that. Let us now keep media speak about that. Your private school organization or the what you call the setup should sensitize the society. Let us not play with the life of the children. Don't play with the policy of this private school management and all those things like that. You should try to convince. When this public information comes, automatically government has to decline. They will have to agree to that, what your needs are there. Okay, you just send one single message to the government. By doing all these things, we are playing with the life of these innocent children. So let us be cautious, that's all. They will take care. But we have not communicated this properly to the government, I should say, from this one. Thank you.
Sure. So there is one more question. This is from Saraswati Muthukumar, madam. The question is, how can we encourage the students from rural background to set up and then participate effectively in virtual classroom? Could you please guide us? This is the question from Saraswati.
So there is no question of dividing the rural urban. This is how we have actually deprived the rural children. But technology is actually bringing everybody in the same platform. Today, Corona has brought such a stage. Even at the elite school is depending on only this virtual platform. Your rural also. It is in the hands of the teacher how you are planning your virtual classroom. As I mentioned, let them all prepare and come. Just previous day you send a message to them. Tomorrow we are going to discuss all this content. Let us all prepare and come. So your virtual platform or online class is the only place for only chatting in a productive way. Interestingly, discuss. Let the children speak. You share it. No introduction of topic there, which we call it as a flip learning. Okay, so I think that will be the best. Child also come prepared. You are also coming prepared. Let us meet in that virtual platform to discuss something productive. That's the best way to take it forward, madam.
Thank you, sir. So I will come to one of probably a very argumentative or probably a very delicate topic. So teachers' inappropriate behavior with students are becoming a major concern in the field of education. Even in the recent incident in one of the reputed schools in Chennai, it has been reported very badly. and there is a little bit of a loss of faith, or probably a little bit of concern about the teaching community itself, how it should be perceived. And what do you think is the role of school leaders right now in when these kind of incidents happen, or what is how should we handle this as school leaders? Can you throw some light, please?
Anyway, you have touched a very, very sensitive, now the media hype matter. Now you have brought it here. But anyway, being a, educationist, having worked as a principal, um, unless it is established, we cannot comment whether the teacher has actually uh, behaved to such an extent that he has to be booked under the POSCO. I mean, such a highest punishment now is put under the Pural jail and all those things. So all before all these things happened now, or it just happened now. As a school leader, I expect that school, the entire school teaching community, on the other parent community, all of them should have now raised the voice by putting forward all the credibility of that teacher. Since that gentleman has happened to me, known to me, I would like to share here the information. He is one of the identified top commerce teachers of CBSE schools in India. He has produced hundreds of chartered accountants. Many of his alumni are there in different part of the world. And all those things are not come into the media at all. Who knows these things? School, the teacher, the principal. When they have been called to interrogate in the police station, they should have come forward. Yes, these are all the facts about the teacher. But however, based on the complaint, let us give the fair investigation. And if it is proved, highest punishment has to be given. That should be the message should be given to them. So correspondent and the principal and the teaching community of that school. I know in the human population, anything can happen anytime. But we must see that no such things are happening yet. For that only, I'm just telling there is a watch and what should be there. Technology is there today now. When I said you can have two teachers teaching in the classroom, I know if one more teacher is there, I don't think that teacher would have come in that, in a manner which is objectionable. Now it is being talked. I don't want to now justify whether he's correct or wrong, but as a principal, as a head of that school, you should always have a mechanism where there is a less chance for all those things to happen. And there should be a very regular kind of, the training for the teachers, making to realize that the guru sthanam or the guru position, it is something which cannot be compromised at any stage. We have to remind them. You see, once you enter, when in particular position, that has to, because the human mind is suggestion. It may be for many reasons somebody might have drifted away from that guru position, but the duty of the principal is to keep reminding. And please keep this, the committee in the school where, what you call it as a sexual harassment redressal committee, where there is already government has given a very clear instruction that has to be very, very, many people do not know what is to be done. Let me share one of my experience. When I was a principal of a Navodaya school residential setup, I kept a one complaint box, which will, the condition written there is no one should write their name. Even if you don't, we will not track your handwriting. You can even write it with the help of somebody's handwriting also. You put it on, write it even in left hand, but the complaint should come to me. That complaints will be opened in front of the team, everybody, and we will come to know many things happening in the school. That's the most simplest mechanism which I can suggest to all the school heads here. Keep a box which will be a very fairly, held up, and no action will be taken on the person who has complained it. And you will not even track who has complained it. But for us, what the message is, and try to find out whether that message is really good or it is vindictive, has got some vested interest, all those things. That is a job of the school leader. So if these things go on, I don't think that somebody who passed out 10 years before now is he or she is posting in that to not complain, posting in their social media, which has become the media hype. And again, government also acted because of the media hype. Otherwise, I don't think that they should also acted so quickly on this. But it's a very sad picture. But all the good teachers, committed teachers, don't be shattered with all those things. Be confident. Let us go. We will continue to do a good job to the society.
Excellent, sir. I think definitely the two teacher methodology in the class, and then the complaint box methodology that you spoke about. These are really showing that what kind of a leader you are. This is more solution focused rather than problem focused. I think that when we start looking at a problem, we all tend to look at the problem more rather than the solution. So being solution focused is really important. And thank you for getting those, bringing up those points. So we're almost 11 minutes cross our scheduled closure time. So this is my last question. So what is your final message to the teaching community and to the parents in shaping the future of students? With this, we will. This is going to be my final question. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, I think sufficiently I spoke. So only one message to the teaching community is, it's a noble profession. When I say the word noble, in true sense, we have to honor that terminology and keep that always in front of your, when you get up in the morning, you look at that, oh, God has sent me today for this job in this world. Today, this minute, I am doing that. Be very satisfied with your, your profession. And it's not a, duty. Never you call teaching as a, the job. It is a service. You understand what the meaning of service. Show some professionalism is that enjoy your profession. You grow with the profession, feel satisfied. It is not your bank balance which is going to give you satisfaction. It is the love and affection of this all the children who passed out of you is going to keep you so happy. And message to the parents, please don't look at school as another commodity of a business center. Please, maybe they are charging some fees depending on the facility available, but actually they are playing a major role in grooming the life of your children. What you could not do at home, my teachers are all doing at the school. Please support them. And at this pandemic time, unless if you don't come forward, you are all the brothers and sisters of that such a big family. If you don't come and support them, who else will support them? So with this, I think already we crossed it, and I thank you all for your patient listening. And I don't know, I have not heard anybody anywhere anything saying that. What has just came in my mind, I explained to you. That's all. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. So thank you so much once again. I don't think you hurt anyone. These are really words of wisdom. It is for everyone's decision that they have to take and move forward. So thank you so much for spending your time here. Then the whole evening, I think we have been almost here for around 70 minutes, and really interesting conversations, really different ideas that actually has come through. I already see a few principals who have actually thanked us on the YouTube channel, saying this session was already very interesting. So really appreciate it. So one thing is that to all the listeners, if you want to forward this to somebody else, though it's a live session, this YouTube recording will be there on YouTube itself. So anyone who's actually there can actually go and watch it. So any of the friends or any of the other teachers who would get benefited, please do forward it to them. Let it be beneficial. And then we will conclude this session by doing a little bit of marketing for DeepGrade. We have our video. So our team is ready in the backend. Who will play the YouTube commercial video, and then with that we will close this. So thank you everyone. Thank you so much for coming here, sir. Thank you again. Thanks a lot for spending your time here. Thank you.